ES Audio.
Hello, I'm Mark Blunden and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, Antarctic ozone hole alert, but first... Future astronauts are likely to be the solar system's best-dressed moonwalkers after Prada was awarded a space suit design contract. NASA's 2025 Lunar Artemis 3 mission, those are the first human boots on the moon since 1972, will feature chic all-in-ones by the Italian fashion house, which is collaborating with infrastructure firm Axiom Space on its grey, blue and orange suits, aka extravehicular mobility units.
Prada's obviously is known for its technical designs and its pioneering use of nylon and re-nylon. So with anything, when you bring in a big fashion name, it's obviously to draw in some attention from the kind of luxury clients that they're going to want to one day buy a crazily priced ticket.
That's Joe Bromley, the Evening Standard's junior fashion editor, who's been asking Prada about their plans, which are being kept quite hush-hush for now.
There's talk that there'll be sort of novel designs that we won't be expecting from astronauts. What that means, not sure. Also, I think Prada will just be doing the sort of external shell. So I think that maybe they'll try and make a sort of splashy, maybe some colour. We haven't seen a lot of colour in the space designs, but at the moment it's all speculative.
And we wanted to know how Joe rates the style factor of those existing Kubrick-esque white all-in-ones worn by SpaceX astronauts.
I think they look sleek and chic enough, but it's this idea of leaning into that 60s idea of what futuristic clothing looks like. And I think that maybe Prada could do something more interesting when we see what they've come up with.
No price tag yet for Prada's space suits, but we know it's part of a contract between NASA and Axiom worth $230 million. Next, satellite data from the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service reveals that a hole in the Earth's ozone layer over the Antarctic is now its biggest on record. For an example, it's now 3 times the size of Brazil, or over 10 million square miles. It's speculated this hole in the ozone, that's the layer that absorbs solar radiation, is now so large due to the Tonga underwater volcanic eruption last January, which was the biggest natural explosion in more than a century. Every August, at the start of the Antarctic spring, the hole begins to grow and reaches its peak around October before receding slightly and eventually closing again. But it's closed later than normal in the past 3 years. Now, one of the trio of scientists who won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry for their work on quantum dots has been describing how their work helps people and the planet. Quantum dots are tiny particles, just a few nanometers in diameter, that can release very brightly coloured light for everyday applications that include electronics and medical imaging.
One of the things that I really found extremely rewarding in this field is how it touches a lot of fields of science.
That's Mungi Bowendi of MIT, who took the honour with Louis Bruce of Columbia University and Alexei Ekimov of Nanocrystals Technology.
The work that we were doing on applying it to imaging in vivo, in animal imaging, let's say, taught me so much about medicine, in the field of cancer, areas that I would never have learned about before.
Quantum dots have a fluorescent quality that allow researchers to track how drugs are delivered within the human body and study a tumour's precise location and growth. Next, doctors at North Carolina's Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine have found a way to use 3D printing technology to engineer skin grafts in the lab that apparently heal faster than traditional techniques. The bioprinted skin tested in mice and pigs was made using human skin cells, engineered to be used as ink for a 3D printer type device. The printer produced human-like thick skin that, when transplanted, effectively formed new blood vessels and helped it regenerate and restore its structure. Now, Consumer Group Which says broadband internet customers here in the UK could pay £150 more than they expected over 2 years due to what's described as unpredictable mid-contract price rises. They're calling on the regulator Ofcom to ban the practice altogether after it found some major providers pushing increases of between 8 and 10% next year, which says customers wanting to avoid these hikes are being hit with punitive exit fees to leave their contract early. Let's go to the ads. Stay there for more news from the world of tech and science, plus new satellite front in Bezos versus Musk and marooned turtles' freedom. Why not hit follow in the meantime and give us a rating? It's Jeff Bezos' latest competitive salvo against rival Elon Musk as Amazon launches its own Project Kuiper web satellites. The pair of devices will be launched aboard an Atlas V rocket to a low Earth orbit just over 300 miles high. The eventual aim is to establish a broadband beaming satellite array similar to that of Musk's 5,000-plus Starlink constellation. Next, online safety campaigners say the case of a would-be crossbow assassin who broke into the grounds of Windsor Castle exposes fundamental flaws in artificial intelligence after the suspect was egged on by AI software. The Centre for Countering Digital Hate is calling for the AI industry to take more responsibility for preventing harm. It comes as 21-year-old Jaswant Singh Chail was apparently encouraged to breach the castle's perimeter by an AI software assistant called Sarai. Chail from Southampton admitted a treason offence, making a threat to kill the then Queen and having a loaded crossbow. He was jailed at the Old Bailey for 9 years. And finally, that's the happy sound of a loggerhead turtle that washed up in a critical condition on Scotland's Isle of Iona in January last year, being released to its Atlantic Ocean home 1,700 miles away. The turtle, who rescuers named Iona, was set free off the coast of the Azores after being nursed back to health at the Sea Life Loch Lomond Aquarium and then at Sea Life Scarborough. Iona was found malnourished and dehydrated in chilly seas off the Scottish island. Now she's been fitted with a satellite tag to allow researchers to monitor her behaviour and progress in the wild. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast for the latest news, interviews and analysis from the Evening Standard here in London, and we'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. See you then.